question. You have stated your case in your witness statement. It's my turn to ask you questions, so you have to answer the questions that I ask you first. So even if you have any further explanation, then it's fine, but you have to answer what I've asked you. And I've asked that you should look at that email. Does it contain anything about the terminal leave?
It doesn't.
It doesn't. Thank you.
And that mail
Do you have your offer letter with you?
That mail was sent because we had agreed on when I'm supposed to resume. And after 1 week, she's yet to get back. The reason I sent that mail was to agree if I'm going to continue to work with my company or I'm going to tender my resignation. And that's the feasibility we're talking about there.
It's fine. The email doesn't say anything about terminal leave. Thank you. Now, the offer letter. Can we have the exhibit? C1. All right. Now, your offer letter is exhibit C1. I believe you have it there with you.
I do.
Can you read the first paragraph of that offer letter, please?
Offer letter is exhibit what?
C1. C1.
First paragraph of exhibit C1.
No, because I need to know what.
You have to start to read the first paragraph.
The first paragraph, yes.
As a result of your satisfactory performance in our pre-selection testing and interview, we are pleased to offer you an appointment as Internal Audit Manager, Finance Grade 4 from the 14th of March 2022.
From 14th March 2022.
Yes.
So I will be correct to say that before the 14th of March 2022, you are not a staff of PZ.
I had tendered my resignation before the 14th of March 2022.
Madam, I have 30 minutes to ask you this question. So it's very important
I'm responding.
that you, sorry, please, I'm the one asking. You have to understand me and then answer as I've asked you. I'm asking you whether before 14th March 2022, were you a staff of PZ? Yes or no?
I have tendered my resignation. So as at that time, I was already on my way out of the business.
That is our response. We take our response. Unless you want her to give you a particular answer you have written out.
No, I'm asking.
Yes.
If she was a staff of PZ as at that date.
And so let's hear
now she's telling me she had resigned in her former office. That doesn't.
So we'll record it as an answer. During your final address, you address that.
As a couple, please. Were you a staff of? When did you become a staff of PZ?
So let me record that she said by that time.
My lord, I'm re-asking the question. I'm rephrasing the question.
But she has answered. So I'm writing her answer. You can ask a follow-up question.
Very well.
She said, by that time, I had resigned from my former employer. That's the answer. So you can ask the next question.
When did you become a staff of PZ?
March 14th, 2022.
March 14th, 2022.
Yes.
Do you recall that you filled the HR background forms on the 4th of March 2022?
Yes.
And you said you became a staff of PZ on the 14th of March 2022.
Because I have filling
the HR
form on the 4th of March. Said, does she recall that she filled the HR forms on the 4th of March 2022? And she said yes.
Yes, because then I had already tendered my resignation and I have my it has been accepted. So I've tendered my resignation since February 8th. That resignation was brought about the offer letter that was given. So it's because of the offer letter that I tendered my resignation in UAC. So that is the reason why I could fill the form and equally put in the information that I gave.
Yes.
You received your offer letter on the 4th of February, 2022, right?
Yes. I received that letter and I tendered my resignation on the 8th of February, 2022.
I received the offer letter on
the 4th of February.
On the 4th of February, 2022.
And I tendered my resignation on the 8th of February, 2022.
This is about the 6th time you are telling us that. We are fine with that. Thank you.
Tender your resignation on the 6th.
8th, on the 8th of February. Yes, ma'am.
So that is 4 days after you received the offer letter.
Yes.
So as at the date of tendering your resignation letter, you are aware that PZ had instructed you to resume on the 14th of March, 2022.
Yes. Already, have asked me to resume on the 14th of March. Yes, because I had already I will be commencing my exit leave on the 3rd of March.
Yes. Mr. Chico.
This is what I just tendered.
Yes, Mr. Ojibara.
Very well. Do you recall that you were sent your provisional offer letter on the 28th of January, 2022?
Yes.
Do you also recall?
What date?
28th of January, 2022.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes, Mr. Ojibara.
Very well.
It went to
the claimant.
So the claimant is no longer there.
Whether what affected us affected.
Claimant is no longer.
Yeah, very rich.
I think she's back.
Hello, witness. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right. So, do you also recall accepting the offer, the provisional offer, on the 28th of January, 2022? You sent an email accepting.
Yes, I sent an email accepting.
My Lord, we wish to tender both emails as evidence in this proceeding.
Email of what date?
The first is 28th January 2022. And
That's when
22.
that's when she got the provisional offer
the
letter.
provisional
I
offer letter,
accepted the offer via email of what date?
the same 28th of January 2022. So there are two emails of
The email might not have earlier been tendered as
C3.
yes. The email dated the 28th of January is before the court, which is exhibit C.
Show
no,
look at it there now. Sorry. You have the exhibits.
C3.
Yes, there are several mails of that day. So we are very careful not to.
Just you have the exhibits, just be sure whether it's not the same. It's the same thing. Exhibit C3. Exhibit C3, dear Rami, the following a discussion I've gone through it and I accept the offer.
They may have tendered the offer. No.
Sure, Clemens.
It's not the same.
You want to take
I think it's the printing that's an issue. I think you should check it well.
Well, if we're confused, we can
C3, please confirm the C3 with you.
It's with whom? It's with him. What is it? No.
The first paragraph says it's the same name.
No. Let me see that. Let me.
If we are not sure, we can take it. Let's err on the side of surplusage.
As a copy, we wish
So
to
bring
check.
it.
So we still have one more.
Math C17.
Mark
C17.
C17. We're grateful.
Yes.
Now, if you look at, I would like you to look at your acceptance. of the provisional offer.
Mhm.
Can you read the two-line email? Yeah, Ramide. Following our discussion. Can you read that?
Following our discussion, I have gone through it and I accept the offer. Notice period is 2 months in my current employment. While this is not given, I will need to pay in lieu of the months or days as it may be.
Very well. So in that email, you told Aramide that you had the option of paying your salary in lieu of notice. Correct.
If 2 months notice was not given.
Yes,
If
if you don't give 2 months notice.
I gave the
you
2 months notice.
No,
I
so
have it and I gave it, and that's why it was accepted.
No, I understand you. I'm asking, in that mail, you told Aramide that you had the option, even though you didn't take that option, you had the option of paying your salary in lieu of notice.
Yes.
Good.
There is,
But you
I will
didn't-
need that if it is not given, it is stated
Yes,
there.
yes.
If
So you
it is
didn't
not
take-
given,
I understand
that's
that.
when the option comes up.
Very
So
well.
because I have the 2 months to give,
Very well.
the
Very
2
well.
months was
So-
given,
Very well. So
and
you
my leave
decide-
was part of the 2 months.
Very well, witness. So you decided not to pay the salary in lieu of notice.
You can't say I did not
2
pay.
months notice.
I have the option of either paying or not. So I have my leave. If I do not go off my leave, I can decide the company monetize that leave and stay and work for the company.
So you
So
decided-
I have the option of staying with the company. I will observe my leave, and if I decide to work on my leave, I will still be paid for that work. But
Very
I
well.
went on my leave. I did not choose the option to work for the company. I chose
Very
the option
well.
to work for.
You did not choose the option to pay. You didn't take the option
I
to pay.
gave the 2 months. Please don't take it out of context. Let's take it as it is.
Witness, no.
If not
Witness,
given,
you are the
you
one.
cannot talk to me.
Witness, no, listen. It's what you say that I write down.
Right.
You said in Exhibit C17, I told Aramide that I had the option of giving 2 months
It was
or
not an
salary
option,
in lieu
ma'am.
of notice. That you had the option to give 2 months notice or salary in lieu of notice. However, I gave the 2 months notice using my leave period. That's your evidence.
I gave the 2 months notice, yes, ma'am. Because what he is classifying as option is if the 2 months was not given, but the 2 months was given. So that's why.
I have recorded that.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Mr. Ajiba.
Is PZ a party to your contract with UAC?
She says it's a different company. They are not UAC.
So PZ is not a party to your contract with UAC?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
I
When you are
recorded no
submitting-
instead of yes.
No, she said yes.
No, she said no.
She's
Is PZ a party
PZ
to your
is not a
contract
part of
with
UAC.
UAC? No, they are not.
No, they are not. Very well. Thank you. Thank you. Now, when you were filling your background HR forms, your letter of resignation from UAC, did you give it to PZ?
It is not what was requested for. It wasn't a document they requested for.
So you did not give them? It's not whether they requested or not. You didn't give them.
It was not a list of documents I'm supposed to issue, so I didn't give them.
You didn't give them. You answer the question. Be basic.
Yes.
Would I be correct to say one Oluwafemi Oguntebi was your line manager and supervisor in PZ?
Yes.
Oluwafemi Oguntebi.
Oguntedi.
Yes.
Was a line manager in PZ.
Yes.
Yes.
When you resumed on the 14th of March, 2022, did you go to him and tell him that you still work for UAC?
When I resumed on March, it was an online, so I was not in the office and we didn't have the chance because Femi was in Kenya at that time. So there was no such discussion.
Okay,
But I
so
know
did
I
you
did
send him,
mention that to him.
did you send him any email informing
No.
him that
No.
you no?
You said it was on the 1st of March?
On the 14th of March. I asked when she resumed on the 14th of March, did she tell that her line manager that she still worked for UAC? She said it was an online resumption. So I now asked, did she send him an email informing him that she still worked for UAC? And she said no, she didn't. Did you send any email, since it was an online resumption, on that 14th of March? Did you send any email to HR that you were still a staff of UAC?
I wasn't a staff of UAC, and I have written every other information that I was supposed to communicate to HR on the HR documentation form.
No, my question again is did you send any email to HR on the 14th of March 2022 about UAC?
No, because I was no longer a staff of UAC at that time. I was already on my exit leave. I had resigned. My resignation has been accepted. I have been signed out the system. So I was only going, how will I say, I was only having my exit leave, which and my prerogative can be used for anything I feel like.
No, you didn't send any mail to HR.
Let me read out what I got from you. Your question was if you sent an email to HR of PZ that you were still a staff of UAC. And you said no, because I was no longer a staff of UAC. I was already on my exit leave and I could use my term as I please. So Jibara,
Yes, that's fine.
you have done 30 minutes.
Our biggest challenge, my lord, is because this is an online cross-examination, my lord. I'll plead for my lord for a little more time. I'm almost done.
Yes, you have to end by 2 latest.
Well,
So you have 10 minutes.
I will struggle to make
You have
that time.
10 minutes to round up. Yes.
Yeah, just a minute, my lord.
That's what is taking the time, not the online explanation.
Yes, yes, my lord. Give me the email. Do you recall sending an email to Femi Oguntebi on the 14th of April, 2022, in response to the query that you were given?
So Femi who?
Oluwafemi Oguntebi.
Oguntebi,
Oguntebi, that's the
same fellow.
same line manager here. Yes, my lord.
On which date?
On the 14th of April, 2022.
In response to
In
query.
response to the query you were given. Do you recall that email?
Yes, I recall. It was a response to the query given.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
I said yes, it was a response to the query given.
Query. My lord, we wish to tender this. Sorry.
It's already given. It's already there. C11.
You said email as evidence.
Email is already there.
The response.
At this point, I don't think we have to keep tendering the same document. This document has earlier been tendered and have a C11.
So Mr. Jibara, C11.
Hello?
So she said it's already in evidence at C11.
Let me examine C11. I'm be sure.
You know, the thing is, the way it is printed, I've seen it, I've compared some of the documents. The way it's printed gives the impression it's a different document. So anyone that will give us clarity, better just follow it.
My lord, we just discovered one document that you said was tendered before that wasn't. So I need to be very careful, my lord.
So have you compared the two documents?
I've confirmed, my lord.
Yes, they're the same.
Interjection by my learned friend is taking my time. Exhibit, cancel.
Yes.
So I've confirmed.
It's the same.
It's the same, my lord.
So I will just say that is exhibit C11.
C11, yes. I want her to, that is exhibit C11. So please take a look at exhibit C11. Go to the second paragraph.
So that exhibit C11 is the response to
the query, yes.
The query, yeah.
I want her to go to the second paragraph. Please read from the fourth line. I initially. Can you read it out? The fourth line of the second paragraph.
I don't think your fourth line and mine are the same because mine starts with permission, if any. So I'll just take the whole.
Sorry.
Mine is showing, the fourth line is showing permission if for any reason. So
from I initially planned, can you find I initially planned?
Okay, I initially planned to discuss with you the possibility of seeking your permission if for any reason my attention is in need in UFC food upon resumption. But when I commenced my leave, which I actually started on the 7th, officially.
Thank you.
No, don't. It's that will be out of context because it has.
No, witness. We will have the entire document. We will have the entire document. We'll read it. We will not read it in batches.
So limit yourself to what I've asked you to read.
So you have read what he asked you to read.
Thank you very much. Now, in that paragraph, you said that there might be a need for you to be required in UAC food even after your resumption in PZ. Correct.
If for any reason, if is a probability. Yes, I didn't just say they will.
Yes, yeah. You said if for any reason.
Yeah.
but you had resigned and you are no longer a staff of UAC Food, correct?
Yes. And the reason
you.
why I said
Thank you.
that
Thank you.
was because
Thank
as
you.
at when I left, there has
Thank
not
you,
been a
witness.
replacement. So if I
Witness,
have to
you
put
told your
anybody
story
through, is the
in
reason.
your witness statement. Thank you. We're out of time. You can't keep talking.
What you're bringing
You have
to it
answered me.
is not on my witness statement.
You are no longer a staff, but you will still be required. Did you ever go to your supervisor for permission to go back to work in UAC at any time?
Never.
Never.
Yes.
Good. So it wasn't until April 12th that you informed your supervisor for the first time that you still work with UAC.
I do not work.
Correct?
I was not working with UAC. Ever from the 14th when from the 7th when I went on my leave, I have never worked for UAC. When I started working for PZ, I never worked for UAC. The only reason
So
I
Jibara,
have,
you said it was not until when?
It was not until April 12th that you informed your supervisor that you are still a staff of UAC.
I am not a staff of UAC. I am not a staff of UAC as of April 12th. The only time what brought about that was, which is what I stated on the query, stating that I was advised, okay, did you mention this, that you're on your exit leave? I said, I can't remember if I did. And that was when I spoke to him. Nothing else.
Yes.
Thank you. Now, do you recall your conversation with your general manager HR of UAC?
On what, please?
On this issue of resumption or non-resumption. Do you recall having a conversation with your general manager HR UAC?
Yes, I remember having that conversation. And
right.
it was
sorry.
What about it? I
don't have time.
Of employment.
I just asked if you recall having the conversation. I've not asked you any question about the conversation yet. You can't. Now, in your response to the query, she asked, this is you saying, she asked that hope I communicated to my new employer that this is my effective date of resignation, that I resumed earlier than my exit date, because she was aware of my resumption date in PZ. And I said, no. I'm reading from your response to the query.
Reading from exhibit
C11. And I said, no. When she asked you whether you had informed your employer, your new employer, that you resumed earlier than your exit date, this is you writing, because she knew your resumption date in PZ. I said no. But that am I supposed to? Can you see that in that?
Yes, I could see that.
Can you see that? Can you see that, please?
I could see it. Yes.
You can see it. Thank you. Thank you. Now, did you also recall?
And when she said that,
sorry,
no.
I'm fine. Counsel, you see, so those things are in the document.
Yes, ma'am.
It's in the document. So
yes,
whether she sees it or not, we will see what is in the document.
There's a contradiction in the witness statement. I now need to go to the witness statement to show her that there's a contradiction between what she has said here and
okay, because I've not recorded anything really on what you read out. I cannot record that in your reading out. I cannot record what is on the document that I'm going to read. I'm writing in longhand. I've been writing since morning. Then I'll write what is on an exhibit. I can't write that. So I didn't write what you read out. But I have written that we have exhibit C11, and she agreed that she wrote exhibit C11. So if she agrees she wrote exhibit C11, I don't have to reproduce the content of exhibit C11. Is that for me?
As a copy. As a copy. In your witness statement or note, you said UAC and PZ are not competitor companies, correct?
UAC Food was what I wrote. UAC
Yes.
Foods Limited.
They are not
UAC.
So in
not
her
UAC.
evidence.
in her evidence, yeah. And she confirmed that
I said UAC Foods Limited.
UAC
It's different
you
from
work for-
UAC.
You work
as
for
a
UAC
group.
Food. You
Yes, I work
UAC
for
Food.
UAC Foods Limited.
Yeah, so you said UAC Foods and
UAC
PZ
Foods Limited and PZ
are
are not
not
producing the same
in
products.
competition. Very well.
Yes.
All right, but do you recall in Exhibit C11, your GMHR reminded you of a similar situation that UAC had that is similar to yours? Correct.
She mentioned it. I wasn't aware about it. She mentioned it because
Okay,
she was the one
you
in
put
charge.
it in Exhibit C11. Thank you.
Do you remember your supervisor?
No, not the supervisor. The GMHR of UAC Foods.
She
Drew
mentioned it,
attention
and it was a
to
competition
similar
company.
situation that had happened in UAC Foods, similar to her situation. So she said she was not aware of it, but the GMHR mentioned
Can
it.
you continue to read that? Because I mentioned there too that I
can't tell me
was
what to
not in
continue.
UAC Foods Limited at that time. You picked
cannot-
part of it and not
You
saying
cannot tell me what to continue to read.
Oh, okay.
I sought the protection of my Lord earlier on. Witness is being very difficult. You can't tell me. I'm the one asking questions.
I'm not being very
You
difficult.
don't tell me
I'm only
what to
trying
read.
to tell you it's an incomplete statement you're making.
Yes, so I have, do you remember the GMHR of USC Foods drawing your attention to a similar situation that occurred in USC Foods?
Which is similar to your situation.
And as at that time, I was not working with UAC Foods.
So what's your answer to this question?
So, ma'am, she mentioned that from the conversation, which is already in the exhibit. But I equally stated that as at that time, when it occurred in UAC Foods, I was not working in UAC Foods.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yes.
And do you recall that you said that it was from that conversation that you knew that you needed to communicate to your supervisor?
Yes, I said that.
You
and
said
I
that.
went straight forward to mention it to him. But before then, every information that requires, that concerns everything has been written and communicated to HR.
As you realize you should have mentioned it to her.
Yes, to her supervisor. And she said yes.
Your answer is yes. Yes, Mr. Jiva, round up.
Very well.
That's your last two questions.
I have just two more.
Two.
In 2021, the staff handbook of PZ, was it binding on you in 2021?
Excuse me? Sorry, I didn't get that.
The staff handbook of PZ, was it binding on you in 2021?
In 2021, I wasn't a staff of PZ.
PZ. So I will be correct to say that the staff handbook became binding on you from the 4th of March 2022 when you resumed and became a staff.
Became binding on me on the I resumed PZ
14th of March. Yes, on the 14th of March. So I'll be correct to say that the staff handbook became binding on you on the 14th of March 2022 when you resumed as a staff, correct?
Yes.
Yes. There's no,
Sorry, I'm trying to picture where you're thinking that. That was why I made that. Sorry.
Simple question. Don't picture anything.
The staff handbook became binding on me from the 14th of March 2022 when I resumed.
The staff handbook, if you look at it, I turned it in on the 18th. So I don't even the where you have all the information.
I don't have time, and this is
Yes,
going
but
on.
you've asked one question. It's just your last question that is remaining.
Do you recall that when you received the staff handbook, you acknowledged receipt of it and signed that you received it? There's an acknowledgement form that you filled. It's with you there.
Yes.
Good.
I filled.
My Lord, we wish to tender the document and everything.
Document is already there.
Sorry? It's the lawyer that is giving her that impression. It's already in evidence. What exhibit is it?
Exhibit C 18.
So, madam, in your
conversation, you are finished.
I just wanted to tender the document. I've not asked the last question. I just tendered the document.
The last question.
I'm grateful, my Lord. In your conversation with the GM HR of UAC Foods, did you tell her that you had filled a background check form containing your exit date and sent to the HR of PZ?
I don't have that. I didn't have that conversation with her, right?
You didn't have that conversation with her. Thank you. That would be all.
That you have filled the background.
The background forms, HR forms, and had sent it to the HR of PZ containing her exit date. And she said she didn't have that conversation.
It doesn't have anything to do with her.
Thank you.
That's no business with the documents I signed with this.
So your answer is I did not have that conversation.
No.
Any re-examination?
No, my lord, no re-examination.
Is that the case of the claimant?
Yes, my lord, that would be the case of the claimant.
The witness is discharged.
Thank you, ma'am.
Respectfully, my lord. Respectfully. I wish to pray your lordship's indulgence. I have a very big challenge. As my lord would note, on the last agenda, this cross-examination ought to have taken place. But for the fact that the claimant did not have the documents with her and her counsel hadn't sent to her. So cross-examination would have taken place. And today, our witness is prepared to go into the witness box for her own evidence. Now, we have a bit of a situation on our hands. Our witness is, I called counsel to the claimant, not counsel before, the senior counsel to the claimant. And he said yes, he was going to be ready to take her evidence to the chief and cross-examination today. Now, some 2 days ago, he called me and pleaded with me. He said he wants to personally handle the cross-examination, and that I should please grant him the indulgence of allowing her to take her examination in chief. And I just tendered the document through her today, and he will come back for cross-examination. I said, well, this is another indulgence. I'm fine with it. I'll get to court and I will explain to the court that situation. Now, our situation is further compounded. The witness is heavy, and it is important that we don't find ourselves in a situation that at the point where our evidence is required, she will not be available to testify. So it is against that I am humbly requesting. The day is far gone, the Lord has been sitting for. If we could just take our examination, my lady friend had said I had no objections to my document. I will just tender them through her. And we will not be applying my name. That since my Lord has already granted leave for evidence to be virtually, that the cross-examination of this witness also not is virtually, because I'm also aware, and when in a situation like this where she's female, she's going to travel out of the country herself and will not be available physically for the cross-examination, but she's offered. In fact, the witness has tried for her because she's not very in staff of PZ, but she says, I was there when this happened, I will testify. So I don't want to lose this opportunity, my Lord, and then we now have a situation where I have to bring a fresh witness from PZ.
What I'll do, I'm tired. It's 2 o'clock. I've been sitting and I've been writing. So when she travels, the same way we did with the claimant, we can do with her. We can give her evidence online and be cross-examined online. I'm tired. I cannot lie to her.
I understand perfectly, my Lord. I know how it can be, my Lord. I appreciate my Lord for the.
So I will give you a date, any convenient date, any date that is convenient to her, will give her. But to sit down here and take another witness, I will not do.
No, it's okay, my Lord. It's fine, my Lord. My Lord has granted us a lot of indulgence. I just feel my Lord's.
Yes, you can ask her.
Just be clear. The register mentions 15th of January.
So 15th of February is okay for you. If you are still in the country, you can come. You will not be. And so you give your evidence. You know what we had to do. You make sure she's going, she takes all the
I told instead of scanning, she will take copies of the documents.
Just photocopy and let her take copies.
No, it's fine. We learned the lesson from the situation with the claimant. So 15th is fine.
Yes.
15th is convenient. I don't know.
15th is convenient.
Adjourn to 15th February for defense.
As the copy.
Well, I wait for my Lord.
Okay, virtual, yes. So it will be virtual, so that will note it. The rest of us will be here.
Physically, very well. Well, maybe I should, before my load rises, like I customary like to extend greetings to the court. I know that Lord will be inundated with writing judgments, all, but it's still proper for me to wish the court a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year in advance, since we will not be seeing again until the New Year. We are grateful to the court for
Thank you. I wish you Merry Christmas too.
No, it's fine.
Allow them, they will keep you here to stay. Just to see another person. Because they are doing all right.